Everyone's Dr. DeCubellis here. I wanted to talk with everyone about the EHR system that really everyone should be using because it's just amazing with what it can do, but also the time and the money it's going to save you. And I brought Nicole on here because she is an expert with Katana. That's the software we're talking about, and I want her to really explain everything about that with you. So welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for having me, Dr. Mike. I love talking Katana. So this is going to be a fun subject to be on. And you mentioned, okay, so the EHR that everyone's talking about, and I've sold EHRs to chiropractors and really to other industries as well, acupuncturists. Some gyms actually used it for their health practitioners. We'll get into kind of some of the reasons why they loved it so much. But this is really a patient relationship platform. So it's taking the EHR to the next level. And I'm almost a little jealous of chiropractors for what they have in Katana, because as a sales rep and as a tech enthusiast, this is really something that I've been looking for. And I always ask the question, so you'll hear in the business industry, this might be comparable to something like a CRM. So I've been looking for a CRM that has the functionality that we'll kind of talk about Katana has. But yes, it's built on the database, so the guts, if you will, of an already very established and out there EHR that many chiropractors use. So it has all the EHR functionality, and we were already an all-inclusive EHR. So EHR also means a multitude of things. It's like a car. Okay, well, what kind of car is it? Is it a manual or is it an automatic, right? So with Katana on an EHR just side of things, we have customizable soap notes. That was kind of the number one thing that, immediately set us apart from all of the other softwares. We have a lot of templates that you can work with, but they're easily customizable. So it's just almost like taking the time card. What's the name I'm looking for?
Like a travel card?
The travel card. Yes. I don't know. I can never think of that, but the travel card and putting it into a button format. So, it's the same concept, just taking that pen and paper and making it electronic, making it a lot quicker, making it pre-type the text that you want it to type. And so especially, as it comes to PI cases specifically, or as it comes to maybe needing to do documentation for a specific Medicare patient or insurance patient, or that's when we got really into some other arenas, like I said, health coaches, because they had a certain questionnaire and a certain flow that they were going through. And so we're able to really hone into that, make it as painless and easy and as simple to get as much comprehensive data as you want. So the soap notes really set us apart. And you can copy soap notes over, copy ICDs over, copy your billing information over from visit to visit. So again, we really always have looked at, from a technology and software standpoint, is how can we take the things in a chiropractic office that are, I'll use redundant for lack of a better term, but if we can automate it, let's automate it. So we can take the people in the office, your CAs, your staff, your doctors, your associates, and have them in front of the patients and doing the things that they can thrive at that can't be automated. So we've always looked at that throughout the software, just how do we make it as seamless as possible? But yeah, with the EHR appointment reminders, everything's kind of included in one interface. And we started to look at, as everything was going the way it was going, what do we integrate with? So there were more features that we wanted to be able to, give our doctors and give our clients. And it's a matter of, do we integrate? Do we build our own? What do we really do at that point? And there's the unbundling and bundling of services, right? And so you see this a lot, like, you can get an appointment, an online booking software, and that's all they do is online booking. And they're going to have like every feature, every customization, every system button, everything you could ever need or want for that online booking platform. But do they integrate with your other interfaces? Do you really need all those features? Are you going to utilize all those features? And then the other thing, like I come into in my own business, is I don't go in and always update it when my hours change or for holidays or for vacations. And so sometimes I end up getting myself into a little trouble because I use a number of services for things, right? So there's MailChimp, there's reviews, there's text, there's, funnel building. There's all of these amazing digital tools that we wanted to be able to, put in the hands of our clients and put them in an efficient, effective way where they're going to be usable and they're going to be converting for them. And so they built it. And it has been the most exciting thing because I really am a tech enthusiast. So, I kept envisioning it and I kept hearing the ideas. And then early 2020 is when it was really released to beta. So I think late 2019, we worked with some alphas, just some inner clinics, making sure everything works. And then we opened it up and started using Katana with some beta clinics. And what they've done is integrated with a platform called K-Funnels. So we have a full integration to our own web hosting, funnel building, online appointment booking. You can do LMS, which would be like learning management software. So think of like Kachar, I can never say that, Kartra, Kajabi would be another example. So you can have, membership only pages, and then e-commerce. So that was the other thing I didn't even mention earlier. You start to build in Shopify, WooCommerce, all of these technology tools for a business owner, for a local business owner. Any small business owner, even with a team, becomes very hard to manage. And you have all this different training, all this different setup, and do they all talk together? So, now it's right in one place for chiropractors. So it's really been fun to see this kind of all flow and be put together. And I love I'm talking with you as we start to see it go into specific niches, like specifically for how, working with PI cases, you can utilize this. And, I've talked with a lot of different doctors that are utilizing a lot of different ways. So that's the thing, is it's an open functionality. So once you get the EHR, you get K-Funnels. We have a lot of training. We have a lot of templates. We have a lot of doctors that are coming in and paving the way and kind of sharing and giving back, like we're doing here, some of the gold of how they're able to utilize the software to its largest advantage. But ultimately, you can do and build just about any funnel, unlimited emails. So that's a thing then. So your funnels and your web hosting, that part of K-Funnels integrates directly into Katana. So it's going to drop, lead generation, people that purchase from your store, it can drop those people directly into Katana, tag them appropriately, and then they can get turned on. We have an email inside of Katana and a text platform. So you can send autoresponders an email or text. You can set up automated campaigns through email and or text. And then also you can just go in and do one-off email or text as well as a two-way text platform. So that's where we talk about, like, I'm jealous a little bit. I wish I had that. Like, I wish I could just get in and text my clients right now, anytime I wanted. That's power, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And so here's what I want to do, because you kind of talked a little bit about everything that it can do, but I want to break it down so people kind of understand. So first thing, let's talk about this. I mean, sometimes people like to wait till the end to kind of drop like the big value, but I kind of want to start with what I see as one of the biggest values. And that is when you get Katana, you don't just get Katana, you also get what's called K-Funnels. Now, K-Funnels is basically the same thing as ClickFunnels. You've heard of ClickFunnels and all these different funnels. So now here's the difference, though, is when you use K-Funnels, which is extremely simple to use. I don't know how to do any kind of web design, and I have about 25 different funnels that I created in a month. So it's not difficult at all. And what's awesome about it is you can share funnels to other people who have Katana. So if you want to, make a deal with someone, you can actually interchange those. But here's the cool thing. Let's say I want to run a Facebook ad or a Google ad, or I want to run something. I can then build a funnel that they go to, or a mini website, which is basically what it is. Within that mini website, if I want to then either give something away, or I want to offer someone a deal, or I just want to build a list, I can do that, and everything then gets put into my one database that is Katana. Now, all those people, I can decide what I want them to come in as. I can have them tagged as, a personal injury lead, or I can have them tagged as a, someone who wanted to come in to get a consultation. And then within there, I don't even have to do anything else. I can already have set up a whole campaign that then will send them emails or texts. They can schedule directly through all that. And I just saved myself a ton of time and a ton of money having someone follow up, because that is the worst thing, is anytime you do any kind of marketing and you just get all these leads and then you got to follow up with them. I mean, it's just the biggest time suck.
So two things I want to jump in there. That was beautiful. So number one, just to what you just said, the follow-up is where the conversions are at. And so I just had this conversation with another doc this morning. We have to get very realistic with human behavior when we start to think about running Facebook ads and running Google ads. Now, Google ads is a little different because they're searching. They're searching for you. So if you come up, they're in that like buying mode, if you will. But if it's something where you're doing on Facebook or Instagram or what have you, you're just, you're trying to disrupt their news feed and come out to their attention. And so you're starting to build a relationship with them. Now they could be anywhere in their day or their life. And I mean, I say this like, jokingly, but literally they could be on the bathroom. So they watch your video, they click over, and if you send them to your website, so this is where I always like to say, a lot of people are like, but what's a funnel? Like, why do I need a mini landing page? Like, what are you talking about a funnel? You really want whatever your ad is about, you really want where you send them to follow that same line of information. And so a lot of times we're sending them, to our homepage, or I'll see even a lot of times we send them just to like an online booking page. Well, unless your ad really sold them and they're ready to schedule an appointment, which really a lot of times, it can't do that much right there in the ad. They're clicking over to get more information and then schedule their appointment. Or a lot of times get more information, you collect their information by trading value of some sort. So that's where that landing page can get really specific. So whether it's condition based, or if it's going to be campaign based. So if you're going to be doing a webinar or an event, for BDC, we like the Ash Teep too. So you should definitely have a funnel for your Ash Teep too. So anytime you meet somebody, you can say, oh yeah, we have a monthly event, go to our link, right? And there it is. And it's just information about that. They're not like on your homepage trying to find it. So I wanted to focus in on that a little bit, because I think, so many times people are confused on what that is. But, before Katana, when I was doing digital marketing and consulting, that was the biggest hiccup, was where do I send them that's going to convert them? And then also to understand, the idea that for them to learn about you and then make an appointment, that's a big jump. So there is that follow-up. So where do I send them where we can gather their information so then we can do the proper follow-ups? Then do we have the tools? Do we have MailChimp, Aweber, whatever? And does it connect with ClickFunnels, whatever, Squarespace, whatever the website hosting they were using? So there was a lot of, roadblocks you'd run into trying to piecemeal this process together. And it really does, like, it increases your conversions just ninefold, tenfold, when you're able to make it stupid simple for them to be able to take the next step with you. Like, you don't want to make it hard for them to take that next step with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, and two, it's you got to think about it logically. If you click on an ad that's for a pair of jeans, and then the link takes you to just a website to where you got to search for that pair of jeans, you're going to lose the sale. You should take them directly to the page about that pair of jeans. You have to make it congruent. Otherwise, it loses everything, because people are not in the state of mind to where they're going to spend a lot of time searching for something that they didn't necessarily have a huge need for at the time. They want it now. They want whatever information it is. So you got to make it easily available for them. Otherwise, you're going to potentially confuse or lose them.
And then I think really it goes into utilization of the tools that you have. And so even for me, I'm in all these systems every day. So as much as I want to send an email every day, or I want to schedule this out, am I opening up MailChimp? And then am I opening up my online booking tool? So when you just have one place to go, so you can just open up your Katana software, same place you're scheduling patients, same place you're doing soap notes is where you're setting up your email campaigns. You have your two-way text. And then you have one support team also, and one training center to refer to. So, you're always reliant upon these, multiple systems changing, or what is, support comes with whatever, subscription level. So a lot of platforms I had the free level, so very limited support. It was figuring it all out. So, but the utilization of the tool is what matters the most. You can have the best tools in the world, but are you utilizing them at the highest value? Well, I think when you have it in one platform, you are. And we see that our clients are definitely going in, they have them right at their fingertips and they're playing with them and starting to really use them.
Yeah. And one of those things too that I want to touch on a little bit more is kind of the whole two-way texting, because this in itself is going to save you a ton of time. I mean, I know prior to all of this, what we used to do is we'd have to try to call all the patients the day before, confirm their appointments and remind them. And now it's automated. We can automatically send everyone an appointment reminder. That in of itself is time saving. But then if they can reply and say, oh, can I actually come in at 3 instead of 2:30? And we can just text them right back, all within Katana, and make that change. I mean, it's saved us so much time. It's really, really amazing.
Well, and you have to think for your front desk, they probably love you because answering the phones and trying to check a person out and give someone the proper attention they need, and also answer those phones for those little things that can be handled, right, through a text message and a quick response. And again, this is where we go back to the beginning of the vision of the software. It opens up you and your staff to be really present with people when they're in your office because you have a lot of these things automated for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then another big thing that everyone always wants to know when you talk about EHR is going to be, how does it work when it comes to the financial aspect, like billing? And what's really cool that Katana has done is you can not only set up your billing to if you want to bill normal insurance, but you can also create care plans, which is something I've never seen in an EHR before. You can customize this down to every little detail you want and make it specific for how you practice and how your clinic is set up.
And that was the other thing in macros. So I'm glad you broke all this down the way you did, because I get so excited. The macros and the care plans, and then our appointment reminders. So we were the only software that had the actual integrated, you didn't have to pay an additional $300 a month to get, appointment reminders. But yes, so with the care plan, again, it's going to be in your patient's file. You're going to have a care plan tab. So right in the same software, and you can set up templates. But the way we have it set up, and we wanted to structure it because, again, clinics are all structured and have needs a little differently. And we also saw things in other softwares, where, for example, if you have a care plan set up and it's scheduled to bill, like your billing codes 98940, 98941, 98942, those, and then you have, one exam and a couple re-exams on there. Well, some of them didn't quantify. So you could, they could get re-injured and come in and have maybe a third re-exam or have to do a whole initial exam on a whole new problem. And they're being billed, under that same care plan. So it kind of throw things off a little bit. And so what we did is built it so you have your visit codes, and then you also can have just quantity codes. And so it's used in a lot of different ways. I see a lot of people use it if they want to bundle together any packages for any other services or products in their office as well, or include, products within a part of that care plan, include the re-exams, but at a limited amount within that, include x-rays at a limited amount in that. So the care plan, again, like you were saying, you have a lot of control over. And then you have a lot of control. You want to keep you very compliant. So it's a separate ledger. So it's, the whole new ledger for the care plan. So you can really see, again, a lot of times maybe they're utilizing other services or providers in your office. And so we wanted to make sure we kept that separate. Should you need to look at balances or anything, you have a clear, accurate picture of what's been used, what's been paid for, and where the balance lies there. And then it keeps you compliant. I was saying, in most states, well, I shouldn't even say that because I don't even know anymore. Every state is different. That's what I should say. Every state's just a little bit different in the way they require you to do discounts. And so we want to make sure it looks and is accredited correctly. Like we're taking these funds, we have a virtual escrow account, we're putting them into a balance, and we're only taking those and applying those when services are rendered. And then we're also applying discounts when services are rendered. So I think it's a little confusing because it's a moving discount, but it's really meant to really keep the doctor just very compliant and accurate in the setup of the care plan.
And one thing that you can do too that is very nice is when it comes to setting up fee schedules for certain insurances that you're in network with, because every insurance does not pay at the exact rate. And when you're in network, you agree to whatever they decide. What I like that you can do is not only create your fee schedule so you can set it. So this way you're completely accurate on what you're charging the patient based on the percentages that their insurance coverage. But you can also within Katana, you can set up macros of the billing code you're going to use. So this way, you know, like if this insurance doesn't cover this code, then you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't even have the option to bill for it, which is really, really nice. So it kind of reminds you, oh, it's Medicare. They're only going to cover an adjustment. I shouldn't be billing for anything else. Or if I do, it needs to be applied to the patient and I need to make sure I have the forms. So it's like another like backup of making sure that you're going completely what you need to do when it comes to insurance if you're billing insurance.
Absolutely. Very smart. Very smart.
Now, another thing too, I wanted to talk about too, is when it comes to the soap note customization, this is where I think where Katana like really kind of goes just amazing out the door value with the way it works is, first of all, they give you have some soap note templates in there that you can kind of build off of. Those are not going to be the ones you're probably going to use. You're going to want to make them specific to what you do, your clinic, and the types of treatments that you do, and then how you create care plans. But within here, you have so much detail that you can put in to be and make it so it's so simple and it flows through. You can create, you can put pictures that you click on to what body part you found. For listings, you can create left or right listing. You can go in so much detail and have this soap note that's really amazing. But because it was the coding, the way they did it, it made it so you could create a soap note that normally would have taken you 20 minutes and you can do it in about 5 minutes. And that's pretty amazing. And then little things too, with the carryover is nice because now instead of trying to go back and remember exactly what happened the patient visit before, it pops up. So you can read it right then and there. The patient said this, or this is what I found. So now you know exactly where you were prior and you can make those changes if you want to change anything or continue. But even just that, even like if you're talking about initial visit date, that carries over. It's going to be the same every time. Your initial visit date is going to be the same. Or if they're in an accident and you're dealing with personal injury, the personal injury date, the date of the accident is going to be the same. So that needs to carry over. But if you're having to type that in every time they come in, I mean, you're losing seconds and minutes.
Yeah. And so that's where we kind of started off with the back row buttons. And I want to say, I don't know if you used them or not, but we do have full PI template already created, which again, a lot of our doctors are going in and reordering. Sometimes things have been added. Again, each state is very different in how they want that information. But then when you go to actually run the reports, there's also a lot of customizations on your reports. So you can choose, so actually I'll go back just a second. If we go back to billing for just a second, also within Katana, we house billing with what we call cases. So a patient can have one case or they can have multiple cases. So this is where other softwares, we were seeing a lot of times you'd have to have like 3 of the same patient in order to keep certain financials to run certain reports differently. And so in our system, if one of your regular patients, let's say, has a cash patient with you, they're on a care plan and they get into a car accident and now they're going to be an actual PI patient with you, you can create a whole new case for that. And then that's where it gets really powerful when you want to go in and start pulling reports like your soap note reports, and you can pull them just specific to that case. And then you can plug in, headers, footers, signatures, timestamps, attorney information, and just very, very professional looking in just a couple of seconds afterwards. So it's a few buttons to get your documentation and a few more buttons to get that, populated out into a nice templated report form.
Yeah. And one thing too about that case that I think people take for granted is, let's just say you have a patient who is, you're billing Blue Cross or Humana or one of the insurances, and then they want to buy a supplement. You have to, in some of these other systems, you have to create a whole new patient, or what we had to do was create like a clinic patient. And under there is where we would bill for all our supplements or ice packs or anything we would sell, because otherwise it would be submitted to the insurance company, they would cover and it would screw up the patient balances because it would say that they're covering 80% of this. And it just made it so messy, where this way we can just have a cash case. Every patient has a cash case. And then that way, if they buy any products or if you do Chirothin or anything like that, you can have a case designed specifically for that.
And now we just did updates, so we're continuously updating, mentioning we launched this to beta in, really it was late 2019, like I said, early 2020. But we're still updating. And a couple of things that have come out recently is you can query by case. And what I mean by that, and this is what takes the email and the text, they're accessible, so you're going to use them, but they're also utilizing the data right within your EHR. So I like to say they're a dynamic communications provider, where like MailChimp is going to be a static provider. So what that means is, they're going to know if you create a new case and you just want to send communications about PI, you can run, a PI setup automated campaign and query. Anybody who has a PI case is going to get that, information. And then we also set up tags. So another way to kind of do this is through tags. So if somebody is a Chirothin patient, you can tag them Chirothin, and then they can get your series or your communications, or you're able to then just query them. So lists is common in a lot of other software. We don't have lists. So this would be the way to like put someone on a list, would be to tag them as a comparison of functionality.
Yeah. And you bring up a really good point, because when you talk about creating different kind of email sequences, I have it set up to where, like, let's say I want a patient to get a specific email after visit number 3. You can do that with Katana. Before, I was having to go in and manually send an email because I only wanted them to get it if they completed their 3rd visit, because it had specific information based off of their 3rd visit or their 5th visit or their re-exam or whatever it might be. Now, all we have to do is create that thing and have the rule be that only send to people who have had a 3rd visit. Or you can create a reactivation campaign, people who haven't been in 30 days. Or you can create a whole, I have a whole thing for attorneys that it's only for people who have a tag attorney, or only people who have a tag, personal injury lead that came from one of the funnels. So you can create an email sequence that's not going to go out to everyone, or even a text sequence. You can create a whole text sequence if you want. And it's so powerful that you can just do this, send it out specifically to the people you want. So now you don't have to be general in what you're saying. You could be precise.
Yes. It's powerful. So powerful. And so like with MailChimp, we're used to like every Friday we send our Friday newsletter, because that's all you can really do at that point, right? And we don't know. Maybe there are 20 visits in care. Maybe there are 2 visits in care. Is this relevant to them? Maybe.
Well, and plus too, you got to just think about the logistics of now you have to export your list from your EHR into MailChimp, but you've got to be updating it as new patients come in, and it just becomes so cumbersome. And there's always going to be this crossover. So now someone's getting 3 emails because they're in there 3 times because your email software didn't know that it was a different person, because maybe, it got uploaded a little bit different. And it's just, it was just such a headache. And that's a good way to make people not happy when they're getting 5 of the same email because they're in your system 5 times because you had to upload it between 2 different things. Keep it clean.
So if you're on my email list, like real life, real story, I went from MailChimp to Squarespace, and then I've wanted to leave Squarespace all year. So I went to Squarespace to MailerLite. I don't like MailerLite, so I'm going back to, I want Katana. Can I just use Katana for my email? So if you actually are on my email list, you've probably gotten emails from so many different places, and it's really ruined. You've watched, as I do that, you've watched the open rates just dwindle. You lose people, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, quickly. Definitely. And I mean, I think that's kind of the biggest thing about this. If we put all this stuff together, right? So we've got this EHR system, we've got a funnel system, we've got a 2-way text system, we've got an email system, we've got a financial report system, because that's the other thing, is it gives you a report on how much money you're making off of your leads, which is just like a cherry on the top. I mean, something you wouldn't even expect from an EHR. So you can actually see how you're monetizing the funnels and how you're using them. And you can stay involved with all of this and create this 2-way texting. If you add up how much it would cost to piecemeal and put all that together, I mean, it wouldn't even be a comparison. So it's kind of funny that you say like, oh, I wish I had Katana. almost anyone could use Katana for just those things and probably be better off.
Well, I would have to have like maybe Infusionsoft, but it's still limited. But maybe Salesforce, and I would need to have like 3 or 4 of their different components in order to make it work. And I mean, it would be a couple thousand a month. And then when you start looking at their programs, you talk about customization. Like this is an EHR for chiropractors. So Salesforce is a CRM for businesses. There's a lot of variances. So it's not industry specific necessarily. And so there is a lot of benefits, and like you can customize a lot of our software, but it is built for chiropractors. So again, it's chiropractic templates. There's subjective, objective. We have a lot of ortho findings in there. We have every which way you could adjust, how you could adjust, where you could adjust button in there. Every different way you could ask a consult in there. So there's a lot that's already in there. And same on the funnel side. So you talk about ClickFunnels. Well, ClickFunnels was for everybody, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. But KFunnels, and when you get in the Facebook group, it's specifically going to be other chiropractors and potentially healthcare providers. We have acupuncturists and other doctors that use it, but predominantly chiropractors, how they're using it. And that makes it a little more powerful when it comes to utilization. Again, I always go back to utilization, right?
Yeah. Well, and one thing too that I know a lot of docs have been using with Katana is they've been using it for their side hustle. So a lot of docs have a secondary either business or something they're selling. And because you can create a full website with KFunnels, now what you can do is you can, let's say you have a book that's out and you want to sell that book. You've got all your contacts in Katana. You can send out an email or a text sequence to say, hey, here's a link. Check out this new book I just got published. It's, you know, an Amazon bestseller. Send them there, and then you can actually create a purchase right through KFunnels. I mean, I'm using that to do my specific training when I train docs on how to do personal injury marketing. I use KFunnels to do that because it's perfectly designed to be able to show them exactly what they need, get the information, but also then deliver to them. And then you can even do a sale through it. I mean, it's great to be able to do that.
Yeah, the e-commerce is awesome. And then you can also do the other side of it. If you're not doing anything e-commerce wise, you can take a payment before you allow them to schedule their online visit. So, you know, if you want to take whatever, you know, I can't think right now, a deposit. You can actually grab their information. So you collect their name, first name, last name, email address, cell phone number. You collect that information. So you get their information into Katana. Then it takes them to actually purchase the product. And so they purchase maybe a $20 phone consult or initial visit in your office. And then you take them to the page where they can actually book. And so too, I want to say that's the complexity of a funnel versus just like building a landing page. Is a funnel can go step by step. So it's first, here's this page. Once you complete this call to action, whatever it is, then it takes you to the next step, and then it takes you to the next step. And so in KFunnels, that's where we're really built. So again, like he's talking about, you know, when we talk about the LMS and e-commerce and online booking, you know, you're really guiding them through the steps along the way. Again, so you're making it super simple. When you make it super simple, they'll just keep going, you know?
Yep. And, you know, here's kind of the other big difference between Katana and pretty much every other EHR system out there is, I have to say, it has to come down to the support. The support is amazing. Especially when I first started using it, it's, you know, a big change from my like 80s old EHR that I was using. So to try to learn, you know, what to do and how to do things, I was on with the support all the time. And not only do you get help right away, but they make it super easy. And it's been the smoothest transition. So just in that support, I mean, like my old EHR used to charge me, I think it was like $1,400 a year just to be able to talk to someone, whether I used it or not. So to have the support built in is just really, really amazing. And then even having a community of that Facebook page to where other people can be there to not only help out if you have problems, but share content, share different macros, or share different KFunnels. It's really quite amazing how everything's put together.
Yeah, and I can't wait to share that with the girls because they work so hard. I love our team. They know the system like front and back even more than I do because they work with our clients day in and day out. But that is one thing with our software. And I always go back to is unless you're actually utilizing it, then what's the benefit, right? I mean, you can own a Porsche if it sits in your garage and you never get it out of the garage. You don't even pull it onto the street. What's it really, worth to you? Well, when you sell it, but that's why comparisons don't always work. But with that being said, again, we have a support button inside of Katana, so you can connect over to a chat. You can also connect over to a training portal. So any part of the EHR, the K funnels, the email, the text, that you need help with. And this is also as you bring on new staff and new associates, we're going to help to give you the resources to be able to bring them up to speed on the tools you have.
Yeah. No, it's definitely been good because you know how many times you don't want to pick up the phone to try to call someone for support, and you just can click on a button and you can just chat. And 90% of the time it's solved over chat because they just got to show you where you need to go. But then even if they can't, they can log right onto your system and they can get it corrected there. So it's really been, it's not one of those, okay, we'll get this corrected in 2 weeks. Just deal with it until then. It's no, we solve it right now so you can get back to running your clinic.
Yeah. Yeah. Their job is to solve the ticket in the moment. Because otherwise then, we can go on to other clients. Otherwise we're just building up stacks of tickets. That's never a good scenario, but I love our girls. They do a really good job. So I'm really glad you brought that in at the end. And then I also know we're going to be building on. So this year there is going to be a heavy focus on even more training videos, more how-tos, more support at the key funnels level, because our training team, they know the EHR, they were coming in and learning K funnels as we were learning K funnels. And so, that is one thing we want to jump in and just continue, like I said, developing and adding on and growing with it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Really staying two steps ahead, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been very eye-opening as to how little my old EHR did when I switched over. And now just knowing everything I did, I mean, I got in pretty early, but I wish I would have gotten in even earlier, and just been able to utilize it because, I mean, really, once you start thinking about how much money you lost by not having a review campaign built into your EHR, not having a reactivation campaign, a birthday campaign, a nurturing campaign, inviting people to your VIP group campaign, all these different things that weren't going on. I mean, what's the value of one patient, and that's how much you're losing by not having this. So, I mean, the software, it's to me, it's a no-brainer. I do a lot of personal injury work, and I can tell you that the way that you have it set up for that is great. The customization is great. I like to put research articles. I can copy and paste them right into my soap note, which is amazing because now when the attorney gets that and you send over your notes, that's part of the medical documentation. They have to use that research, which they can't just throw it out. It's part of your soap note now, which has been really, really nice. It's not an attachment. It's in your soap note. So any doctors that I work with and train, I always recommend Katana because this way I know that they're going to be able to create the right kind of notes and the attorneys are going to be happy instead of something to where they're trying to do a recording and then you've got to send it out to be transcribed. And it's just, that's not going to work. We need something that's going to be steadfast and we can actually get the right kind of notes and documentation over.
I love it. This was so much fun. I hope this was fun for everyone listening. I obviously am very excited about the technology and it nails it on the head. It's just what it opens up doctors to do to be able to reach their community, communicate to their community, and just be, up to speed on all of these tools that are available, really.
Yeah. And one thing I would say to everyone too, if you have any other questions, also feel free to reach out to any of the docs that are using Katana, because I can tell you right now that even once we were using it, we can give a different perspective if you have something specific in mind or a question about. But the team at Katana is awesome. I mean, they'll meet with you, they'll answer questions, they'll do a Zoom. I mean, whatever you need, but you really should get on the phone with them and figure out why you haven't been using them already, because this is going to be the EHR that everyone's going to be using in about 5 years.
Yep. So katanahub.com, you can hop over there if you're interested and want to do a demo. Most likely you'll talk to me or potentially Tristan, but it always gets routed to someone on our team. And one of the things that we like to do is we really try to help determine if this is going to be a good fit for your office. With our software, as we've always been, this is the way. I've always worked with Frank and Travis, which are two of our co-founders, and then Sean and Lacey. It's the way they've always been. You're not signing a big contract, it's month to month. So if you don't like the software, you're welcome to go to another software. You don't have to wait until that contract's up. We want to spend our time with people that want to use our system. We want to train people that want to use our system and vice versa. We don't want to spend our time in that direction. And so, we really want to work with you in the beginning to help you understand how the software works. And if a conversion, because I know this is what goes through people's mind, is a conversion is a nightmare. A conversion is a big project. So even though I don't like my EHR, do I not like it enough to go through the pain of converting? And that's what I try to, really help people determine, is it going to be worth it? And then like Dr. Mike was just saying, he's went through it, he went through that process. So you can reach out to him, but we do try to handhold you. We've done it thousands of times. And I don't want to say we make it easy because it's consuming a little bit, but we try to streamline it. So it's not a headache. It's just step by step, boom, done. And you're in a new system and have all these tools available before you know it.
Yeah. And the conversion, while it's not easy, it's also not hard in any way. It is not sitting there and entering every single one of your contacts in. The team is awesome. They convert that over for you. I mean, I didn't understand half of what they were doing, but when it was done, I had an EHR that was up and running. So it was really, really nice. Well, I want to thank you for spending time with me today. I know you got places to go, but I just wanted to let everyone know about Katana because I think it's great. I am a customer. I don't work for Katana, but I am a customer, and I think it's something that everyone can really get some value from, and they really should at least look at and schedule a demo to see if it's a good fit.
I do work for Katana, so everything I said was completely biased, just so you know. But I was a tech recruiter before this, so I do know tech quite a bit, and I'm so excited. Like, I'm more excited about this technology than I have been about anything in a long time.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and make sure you reach out to them and get that demo set up or answer any questions that you might have.